This is Fox News.
Lawrence County depends on WDXE News, on the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
As promised, it's time for a Friends and Neighbors Hour, and I've got two friends and two neighbors in here, Elle and Tiffany, and you guys are here to talk about the data center issue, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, you're welcome. Glad to be here. All I knew about you coming was that said data center people.
So we've been called worse before.
So let me clarify, you are not with the company.
No.
You are citizens here in Lawrence County.
Yes, we are from the group Citizens.
Scoot up just a little bit.
Yes, we are with this group Citizens Against Lawrence County Data Centers. And we just grassroots organized ourselves after the post that Ryan Egley had posted back in March about the data centers coming.
Okay.
And citizens were outraged. There were, plenty of people that wanted to get together and talk about it. So a few of us didn't even know each other, decided to just kind of get together and see what we could do. So we formed that group, have a Facebook page, and we've just been trying to get the word out about the data centers coming.
Okay, all right. Well, I have seen some of your stuff. I've seen you, I think, at some of the commission meetings or in that. So you guys have been very active.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, what have you found out?
Well, it's been an interesting journey going through it all. And from the very first one, hearing about the Lawrenceburg data center off Flatwoods Road. And then now we're here with tomorrow being a county commission vote on a 12-month data center moratorium. So it's been, I don't think either of us thought that whenever we started doing this, 4 or 5 months ago, that we'd be here at this point. But we really were kind of inspired seeing how much data centers were coming into communities across the United States and the harm that they were causing. And so our whole point has been to educate and make sure that people were informed on things. And so that's kind of where the goal is now with the moratorium, is to educate ourselves. And
okay. I was going to ask you, why the alarm?
For the data centers?
Yeah.
Well, they have...
Scoot up a little bit more. You're just a little ways.
I'm so sorry.
I'm too loud, that's why.
Yeah,
I only have one control for those mics, and you're loud and you're not.
Yeah, okay.
I've been told that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why the alarm?
Why the alarm?
Yeah.
Data centers have impacts on community, on health, on the water system, on the power grid. And so the one that's being proposed on Flatwoods is currently not that large of a facility, but there are other opportunities, whether it's in the city or the county, for larger ones to come in that can have a negative impact on the community. And so we just need people to understand what that means for the community.
This particular data center is not going to have the environmental impact that a bigger one would have.
Well, that's a tricky question because at first the data center was going to be around 7 megawatts. That was what was first portrayed to us. Then it was 5 megawatts. Well, now it's 4.9, which sounds great because it's less. However, at 4.9, they don't have the studies. They don't have the environmental loopholes to go through. There's a lot less accountability with an under 5 megawatt data center. And so the Flatwoods is a small center, but they won't have to go through all of the loopholes to get built.
Okay, so explain some of that for what do you mean by loopholes?
Well, there's environmental impact studies that would have to be done if it's a larger facility than it's 5 megawatts or larger.
Right.
And water studies, removal of the wastewater from the facility. There's a lot of things that they won't have to go through being a smaller 4.9 than a 5.
Right. Okay, well, any industry that comes in, or even a business, and I'm in the real estate business, so I know this. Environmental impact studies have to be done for all kinds of places, not just this kind of thing.
Yes.
And I've seen, and so there are people that are responsible for that. And so what I'm going to say is, it's not going to happen if it violates some environmental impact.
That sadly we find to not be the case. The federal government, there's been a lot of things taken away of different protections from different programs. And whenever we first found out about it, we started researching and reaching out to all of these different organizations. And we were told that they can evaluate things, but they don't have any authority to act on anything. So they were just kind of gathering information. And with the Flatwoods Road project, there was 0 studies done with Little Shoal Creek right beside there, which has endangered fish species. There was nothing that was done by the City Planning Commission or the City Council to actually study anything before. They just approve things through. And we haven't really found a government body that is actually holding these companies accountable to actually go through and do the proper research.
So who's doing it?
Nobody. It isn't
They're not,
getting
yeah.
done.
It's just,
That's the point.
yeah. I don't know if you've been following it
Yeah.
on a national level, but these data centers are coming in super fast across the country, and they're skirting a lot of laws. A lot of citizens like us don't find out till after it's been voted on. It was voted on and approved in a January 8th meeting was the final reading. And we didn't find out about it till the end of March from a Facebook post.
Okay.
And so I think we're just seeing this trend happening at a pretty large scale across the country.
Well, I've seen a few data centers, been in a few data centers. You may remember the AT&T data center that experienced the bombing in downtown Nashville. I was actually in that one. That one's been there for I don't know how long. There is, and I'm playing devil's advocate with you. I'm going to challenge you maybe a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So, and you guys have studied up on it. I really haven't. I'm not here to just absolutely be against you. I'm just a little bit worried. I feel like that there's a lot of environmental alarm that's unnecessary, and there's been multiple false accusations made about people taking money for this and that and the other that I don't think you guys have done, but it's happened, and that irritates me.
Yeah.
Because I know it to be false. And so, has anyone proven that anybody's been on the take or taken money or anything like that? But that's been thrown out.
Oh yeah, that's definitely been thrown out. And I think what we've seen is that there's been an instant distrust of what's been happening. The fact that it was not really brought to the public's attention. And then even like this past weekend, I don't know if you got the text message alert on your phone about
Who was behind that?
we don't know, but I think that just further shows like there's something going on. There's parties at play that want a data center to be here that are willing to send out a mass text message with misleading information. So I think the lack of transparency is really also kind of fueling that, where people think, oh, they must have taken money. We haven't proven where anyone's taken money, but I think there's clearly some actions that have been questionable that are making people kind of jump to that conclusion.
Are you familiar with a fellow named Bert Staggs?
I've seen his post, yeah.
You've seen his post? All right. He's visited some data centers that have been in existence for a while, right in the middle of developments, right in the middle of commercial areas, right in the middle of anything and everything. They seem harmless enough.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem is that we're not getting an apples to apples comparison. So now with the redistricting in Tennessee, the Memphis mega XAI centers are actually in our congressional district now, of Congressional District 9.
Yeah.
And those are massive and have so many health impacts that are happening in Memphis. But that's not what's come into Flatwoods.
Right, exactly.
But people are sharing that and saying, oh, look at the harm that it's doing. And it's not an apples to apples comparison.
And we acknowledge that the one on Flatwoods is clearly not, like she said, apples to apples to the bigger ones. And we're not professing.
You know, one of the good things that could come out of this, okay, let's say the data center is moves forward and is going to be built. It's not going to have the impact that the big, huge place would have. But the effort that you guys have made will probably set up a cautionary tone in the county to make sure that we don't have one that has that kind of
Well,
impact.
that's what we're hoping for, is for tomorrow to have the vote, the vote for the moratorium. It's just for 12 months, just to study. Nobody's putting zoning in, nobody's putting codes in for people's property. This is a huge misconception going on online right now. And we're just trying to protect people's property. I mean, there's a lot of people here that have family farms, for 100+ years. I'm sure they don't want a data center going in right next door to them.
Yeah, but here, and I shall play the devil's advocate here, okay, on this. So yeah, I live out in the rural area. I live out in Deerfield, in the farm belt out there, and have farming neighbors and friends. And across the road, I've got a beautiful view of a big field, and it's all good, but I don't own that field.
Yeah.
The owner of that field might decide that, hey, I want a chicken barn.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I sure don't want a chicken barn across the road from me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
But can I stop him from doing it?
Well, and that's where we're at now, that there's not any
Right.
zoning in the county. And that is tough of like, can you really say what people can do with their land? Can you tell them that they can't sell their land, things like that? But I think you have to look at these kinds of industries that are coming in that are not going to just, if the chicken barn comes in, it's going to make you unhappy. But if a larger scale data center comes in, it depletes resources and it makes a lot of people unhappy. It also can have a lot of health impacts more than just the nearby neighbors.
Well, and aren't chicken barns more regulated by the government on what they can and can't do in their disposal and
Well, they're very strict on what they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And so I guess that's one of my points is no matter what's built, it does have to meet regulations of some sort.
Well, if you don't have zoning in the county, it's, as everybody keeps calling it, the wild, wild west. There is no regulation out there.
So are you for zoning?
I am not for zoning. I don't think that let me correct myself on that. I'm not for widespread zoning. I'm for data center specific zoning or codes, whichever it is, because I don't think people,
Okay, well,
I don't think people should be have to get a permit to put a barn on their
Sure.
property or a doghouse or whatever they want to do on their property. No, I am not for that, and I mean
No,
that's not
definitely
what
not.
our
Well,
group is
do
for.
you believe that data centers are necessary?
I don't think that as many data centers that are popping up, I do not think that they're necessary because there's a much broader spectrum for what they're for. There's different kind of data centers. You've got like a storage facility data center.
Mhm.
You have an AI processing data center. You've got crypto data centers. You've got, mass surveillance data centers. So
Yeah,
I'm
there's-
not for data centers in the broad spectrum because I don't think that mass surveillance on.
Don't you think
Americans-
though our society has gotten to the point where we're not going to be able to do without them?
I don't think so. I think that
I mean,
the
we're
internet.
using them. Listen, we're using them every day, all day, whether we know it or not.
Sure, the
all your-
internet and
all
social
your
media has
banking,
been around. Yeah.
All your banking,
Mhm.
every time you shop, if you shop, do you use Amazon?
Well, yeah, but our government has put us in the position of having to do that.
Well, that's
From-
not
from-
going to change.
Well, exactly, but there's a difference between, like I said, for your banking and your
Yeah.
data center, and there's mass surveillance, which is going on.
Yeah.
And that's more of a concern to me than what my banking information is being stored.
Yeah, yeah.
To track what everybody's doing, what they're shopping for, what music they're listening to, it's very overwhelming when you read about it.
And that's been going on for years.
Mhm.
That's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And listen, we voluntarily let them have it because we use our phones.
Sure.
Y'all use phones?
We all agree to different terms and privacies and things like that when you do any kind of service.
Yeah.
But if you look at how many, so there's kind of a website now from Aaron Brockovich that puts together all of these different data centers that are being built across the United States or being reported by communities. And it's pretty alarming to see just how many are currently in construction or going through the process and how quickly they're building them as well. It definitely brings more concern because, like you said, we've been using them for a while. We've been doing online banking and social media and the internet for a while, but we've never had them needing to be built at such a breakneck pace that they are now, which definitely leads to kind of more questions with AI of what's actually coming.
It's
about.
economic driven, though. I mean, they wouldn't build them if they weren't needed.
I don't
Yeah.
necessarily believe that because
Well,
some of
because,
these ones that are
well-
being built, they don't even know who the customer is.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't invest that kind of money without some kind of expectation of return. These companies have to make a profit.
So in comparison, in the early '90s, we had the .com boom, and everybody's .com put all
That's
this
right.
money. So there's a lot of comparisons to the .com boom
Yeah.
and this data center boom, where everybody's building, don't necessarily have a customer yet, and that bubble is going to pop, and there's not
And,
going to.
and there'll be losers.
Yes.
The companies will be losers.
So with the communities that depending on that tax money.
Yeah.
So what happens to those communities that will no longer get that money and filtered for their roads or their schools or whatnot?
So explain that? I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean they will lose tax money?
Well, if
How would they lose
if
tax
this
money?
bubble does boom as it is projected to do
Mhm.
in say 1 to 3 years, if the data center closes down, how are we going to get that tax money because they're closed?
Well,
right?
I mean, you could say the same thing about the Magna plant.
Sure.
If business goes bad and they have to close a plant,
Sure.
there's not a whole lot they can do. They close the plant.
Sure. It's not part of a a bubble boom, the magnet plant, like data centers are. So there is a difference there, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just economics.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, it's the ebb and flow of economics. Somebody wants to talk in. Somebody wants to talk to us. Okay. Good morning. You want to chime in on this?
I'm not for or against, but I am a little bit suspicious. This came from AI this morning, and it's interesting to me how they put a disclaimer on AI. They want everything on AI, and if it's got a disclaimer, that means it's not 100% accurate. But this says that they are called a hub spoke, like in Lawrenceburg. I just put rural areas. They're a hub spoke for rural edge sites. But it says, see, local people think this is just local. The information in these sites can be routed, the local data traffic back to the primary major data centers. And in our case, that would be Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham, and possibly Huntsville. And also, it's tied into surveillance and the military. I don't know how, but I've seen articles, but I haven't read them. And also, if you'll pay attention to the Iran war, in Iran, they have attacked data centers in there are a couple of those other Middle Eastern countries, and in Ukraine, they and Russia have. So we're tied in there, but I'd like to also call attention, if these women are not familiar with this, the Kingston coal plant close to Oak Ridge and tied in with Oak Ridge goes back to 2008 when they had a spill. A disaster. It was supposed to be the worst in U.S. history. But I appreciate their conversation and their comments about this. But one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, is the non-disclosure of this. And they are legal. I've looked them up. For example, Pfizer used them with COVID. That's why they couldn't tell us, and they had to tell governments to sign them and stuff like that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I don't know what part you want to comment on that.
Yeah, well, I can't really speak to, data centers abroad as much, but I do think that in terms of like the disclosure, what was kind of alarming to us, so a text message went out, a mass text message with an AI generated image that had completely misleading information about that the moratorium was going to cause zoning across the county, which is not true. Unless you, Jeff, are planning to build a data center, a cryptocurrency mining facility, or high density computing facility, you won't have zoning in the county. And that's not at all what the message was saying. It was very misleading, but like she said, there was no disclosure of who actually was sending the message. There was no disclosure of how they got all of our numbers in the first place. Yeah. And it just kind of showed that there was something else going on at play, and it kind of leads into that transparency.
I think we all get text messages or phone calls from somebody wanting to sell something all the time. Oh, yeah. So your numbers.
Our information's been sold.
Well, it's randomly generated somehow. Okay, whether they buy it or sell it, they can get it. We all get frustrated what we call the spam calls or the spam text. Sure. And I delete them 100 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
So they're there. So it's just part of life at this point for us because we are so addicted and connected to technology.
Yeah, but it's just concerning that somebody in the community spent money to generate a false text and a false narrative.
Well, that's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
On both sides of this fence, to me.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, and I'm not advocating that we got to have a data center. I'm just looking at it from a real estate point of view and from a business point of view, and from what I understand about the data center that we're getting here. I think we've had a lot of alarm about not much to be alarmed about.
Well, I think what's alarming to me about the Flatwoods project was not only the fact that there was no transparency, even on like the city of Lawrenceburg deliberately had misinformation in terms of the newspaper article and the dates on the sign. So they were really not trying to inform the public and get them there. But there's also a lot of, they are putting a 40,000 square foot facility, but they bought 6 acres and there's more acreage that they could purchase as well. They even said on the first WLX interview, the head of LUS said that they could scale up and purchase more. So we're seeing this kind of trend of these data centers coming into communities at a small amount. So it's, don't worry, it's a small one. Mm-hmm. And then they quickly scale up. And then that's where you get some more problems as well.
Right. Okay. Could be a problem.
Yeah.
Well, misinforming the public.
But there are environmental impacts to any facility that you build.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People have talked about the water use of some of the car washes, or something like that. Power usage. When the Murray plant was built here,
Mhm.
they had a huge environmental impact still to this day.
Yeah.
Which facilitates why we want things, in place to protect.
But I
the
don't think there's
community.
anybody in this county that would have not wanted that plant to be
Back
here.
then.
Yeah.
Back then, there, yes.
Oh, even today. I mean, my family made a living in it. Multiple families depended on that Murray plant to be
Right,
here.
right.
So I'm just saying that, yeah, we understand the risk, we understand that, but we've learned to live with some of that, and it eventually cures itself. This planet makes good use of itself.
I don't know that that's all necessarily true. I mean, look at Flint, Michigan with their water from years and years ago. It's still not cleaned up.
Yeah.
I mean, so I
Oh
don't-
yeah, I think you can have a local environmental impact that's negative always. That's true.
But the more we keep allowing the little by each company, they just did a little bit, or this one just, like, it starts to add up on our waterways, especially putting things next to Shoal Creek, or, it's been,
But
discussed about.
I think it's misleading to tell people though that facility is going to be dumping its waste into that creek. They're not.
We didn't
We
say
didn't
that.
say
No, no.
But
Yeah.
that's what you're saying. It's next to the creek. It's next to the creek, and it's going to do this. They're not going to be dumping their waste in that creek.
No, but if you see, so facilities like that have a closed loop system, there's
The closed
leakages.
loop system.
There's nothing that's going to be 100%. We also are on top of an aquifer, so those leakages can go into the aquifer with the heavy chemicals that everyone around there is on well water, and Little Shoal Creek is there, which is part of why we were saying, hey, where are the studies? Why can't we study things?
All right, I'm going to say this: your car leaks.
My
And
car leaks,
Everybody,
You're saying the word-
everybody's car leaks. I mean, you think about it. Our cars leak. We have leaks everywhere, all over this town,
Yeah.
from top to bottom.
So on this particular data center, we still haven't gotten confirmation where the wastewater from the cooling system will go. They have applied and gotten a permit for a septic system for the kitchens, toilets,
Right.
whatnot.
Right.
And they did say that they were going to truck away the initial 20,000 gallons of water, refill it, but there will be flushings during those times, and they still haven't addressed, will that water be trucked out as well? We don't know what those.
So when you say they haven't addressed, who are you talking to?
Well, Vic Pusser was the one that said it at the planning
Okay, but he's
commission.
not the company.
Yeah,
So
I emailed him, and
but he's not the company. So not the data center company.
right.
Yeah.
So have you communicated with anybody that's actually with the data center?
If you go to their website, it is not operational. They said that they build hyperscale AI facilities, but they've only been around for 18 months. The contact form was busted. There's no way of actually contacting them. So it kind of also led to more transparency of, okay, is this a shell company that we're dealing with? They haven't made any effort at all to respond to any claims or questions. So
We would love to hear straight from the
I
data
would
center's
too.
mouth.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. If you can hook that up, that would be stellar.
So
because-
I mean, I'm just asking here because I haven't been involved in this. Okay,
Sure.
but what about those who have been in touch with them locally? Can you go to them and say, hey, can you arrange a meeting so we can talk to them?
So that was kind of our first thing that we were working on. So we've done 2 different petitions. The first petition was asking for a town hall because we as citizens just wanted to learn more. We wanted to hear what was coming and understand it more. And there was a lot of feedback that was not something that they were interested in doing, trying to get the city or the chamber to facilitate a town hall, and it was not something that was of interest. So our second petition was calling for a moratorium because we're just not getting enough answers. Even like the site plan, whenever we were at that city council meeting, the numbers had changed since the last time we heard with the site plan. So I think the constant changing of information is also kind of leads more questions than answers that we've gotten.
Okay.
Well, and we have the chamber, saying that he won't be as forthright with information from this point on, or from 2 months ago when he said that.
And say that again now.
When the Ryan Egley, sorry, when Ryan was in a county commission or a county meeting, I think
Yeah.
it was a county meeting, and he was asked about the data centers coming in, and asked about like what happens like with the neighbors, and it was a big shrug of the shoulders of like, too bad. But he also said he was not going to be as forthcoming with information because his post back in March has sparked this entire controversy. So it's hard for us to want to go to the leaders when they're not going to be forthright with the information.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I know Ryan,
Mhm.
know him pretty well.
Mhm.
He's been forthright with me, so
Did he tell you about the data centers?
Well, I don't expect him to tell me everything that he's working on,
Mhm.
because companies, and I know this from being in the real estate business, companies look at our place and they don't want people to know they're looking yet. There may be reasons that they don't need for their business purposes to let anybody know they may be moving from one place to another, or things
Sure.
like that. So there has to be some element of trust with these companies that want to look, and we want companies, or at least we say we do, we want companies to build here or come here, and our community to grow, that kind of thing. So his role, in my opinion, is to sometime have to maintain, some level of trust with those people that he's dealing with,
Mhm.
until they're ready to actually publicly announce.
Yeah.
So, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and I mean, non-disclosure agreements are pretty common. I'm
Pretty
also in the business world. I've actually been a member of the chamber, member of the Chamber of Commerce for the last 3 years, and I'm very pro-business. But I think we have to also evaluate and make sure that the business is best for our community and not just pushing through for progress for the sake of progress, that it actually aligns. I would love to see other businesses here. I love going to the chamber, like ribbon cuttings and the open houses, and getting to talk to other business owners, because business is lonely. I've been a business owner for 17 years now. So getting to be around others that are trying to also build up community and business in the area is great. And I think that, we would love to see other facilities that come that bring jobs and have a positive impact in the community and aren't just coming in to take resources.
Hang on just a sec. So you want to chime in?
I do. I have a question.
Okay.
Believe it or not, a serious question.
I can't believe it.
If the thing that I understand that people care about the environment and all that, but this is my question. Like my phone, I've never even heard of a data center until all this come up myself personally. So, but the way I understand it, I use a data center with my phone if I have a cell phone, right?
You do.
Okay, so if I don't like caffeine and I'm against it and it hurts the environment, then I don't need to drink Red Bull or coffee. It's okay, you have your right to be against whatever you want to be against, but why do you support it by using it if you're against it? That's my question.
Okay, good question, Jerry.
Have a blessed day, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, so we've actually heard this a lot of times from different people in the community of, okay, if you don't want a data center, then get off your phone. Go to a flip phone, don't get on the internet, don't do online banking. But again, it's just not a fair comparison, and it's not what we're talking about. The data centers that are being built at such a vast pace and such a large scale, that's not for online banking. It's not for that kind of stuff.
AI and the crypto and the mass surveillance.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm just saying, I don't think those things are going to stop.
I think there's definitely going to be a boom or a bust at some point. If you follow any of the AI stuff, they are running at a huge loss and have been for a while, trying to build this infrastructure and this kind of base, but it's still just not caught up to the demand there. So I think there is going to be a bust at a certain point. I don't know if you're into computers, but the computer chips are crazy and you can't just keep going at this kind of speed. So I think it kind of does lead to why the push for so many of this one type of data center being built, because we've been using our phones and being able to do these things for a long time without them happening.
Have you guys, and this is not a gotcha question at all. I use it. Okay. I enjoy using one of the AI apps.
I don't use AI.
You don't
I do not either.
You don't either?
No,
Really?
I have had, so my background is marketing, and I have been putting videos on YouTube for the last decade. Over 400 videos that I had completely stolen and used without my permission to train the AI bots, where you can actually search different things and ask ChatGPT questions, and it'll say, Shopify expert Elle McCann says, and that took away my livelihood, and it's using my intellectual property that I spent 17 years building and developing, and is just giving it away. And so no, I do not use AI. I think it is kind of harmful, and I'm a little nervous about where the future is going to be going with that.
You're not alone in that.
Yeah.
You're not alone in that.
There's a big lawsuit about a lot of book authors getting refunds or getting payments from AI companies using their pirated books for training on their AI. Like there's just some scary stuff coming ahead, and that's not good.
Yeah, it is not. There's definitely abuses.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's we've messed with here on the station with some buddies of mine on this show actually, where we've brought up an AI and it takes on a personality, and we've had conversations with AI.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really weird.
Well, look, AI just, they had a company last week that their own AI found a loophole in their system to go and attack another system. It's kind of like teaching itself how to corrupt.
Broke out of the,
yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff. So when we're talking about data centers, we're really kind of like talking about those things, not your cell phone usage and your, medical records. Because as we said, there are different uses.
Those are necessary for the way we live, data centers. Those data centers, as far as the way we want to live at this point in our lives, are necessary. And for the one that's here, or the one that's supposed to be here, it's that type of data center. It is not an AI data center, is my understanding.
Yeah, we've been told that it was cloud storage, but then we were said for potentially someone in the community, but then not. So
And
we
it's
haven't gotten
called a booster site at one point.
We haven't gotten 100% confirmation of what that is, but it doesn't seem like with the size it is that it would be one of the large scale ones. Yeah,
Sure.
AI.
Right.
Well, that's at least a good thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so
So
that's what we're
now
trying.
we need to protect the county where the big ones can go.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not opposed to putting in protections for our county. We don't want to mess up our way of life.
Yeah,
we agree.
And of course, just like the small example I gave about chicken barns or whatever.
Right.
Those things can happen, and we it's kind of a balance, I guess.
It is.
It's
It
kind of a
is
balance.
difficult to try and figure out where these data centers can go that would be conducive to a community.
Sure.
But, we get text messages and calls all the time about, so-and-so didn't plant their field this year. They must be selling to a data center or, they're lying, cables in West Point, and that must be for a data center. So the community is on edge, and that it's an uncomfortable feeling.
Well, I think that's so unnecessary. I think that's caused by some of the alarm that we've experienced, because we just had. And listen, I live out in a very western part of the county, almost to the Wayne County line. Out in Deerfield, on a Greenwood Road, and just a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, they ran underground fiber out there. Okay, and we were like, "Yay, we're getting fiber out here!" We're gonna because I've been getting my internet service over the air.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Okay, we're getting fiber out here," but I wasn't scared of it.
Right. But some people are, because they think that is leading to data centers being put up in the area.
Yeah.
So, I could see the cause for alarm. I think some of it is, I think it is a little
overblown, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's like we've also been tracking multiple different large acreage of, a couple hundred acre cells that are going for far above market value. So I know you would understand that as a real estate
We love
agent.
that as real estate.
Right? I know you would like that for that commission, but to us, we're like, wait, why are you buying so much land at such a high price compared to what recently sold?
Which is what happened on Flatwoods. It was inflated pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when we see things like that, it does bring up concern, and it's hard for us to verify these things. Like, we've become researchers, and we didn't sign up for this job, but we're trying so much to just find out information and educate and bring facts. But these kinds of things are coming in within the shadows, and they're not trying to be forthright. And so that's why we've been really pushing for a moratorium, because this would cause a pause. So any potential data center development in the county, this wouldn't affect the Flatwoods project. wouldn't be able to happen for a year. And then we'd be able to have a committee that's created of county commissioners that are then going to be able to study the impacts of this and give a recommendation of, where these could go if they were coming to Lawrence County. But then it gives us time, because right now we're just kind of playing whack-a-mole, and we won't actually know that anything has come in until the construction starts. And at that point, it's far too late.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking. Okay. Normally, though, when an announcement is made, the deal's already done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been normal for years.
Yeah, for sure.
So nothing out of the normal really happened.
Except for the zoning, the rezoning, the notifications were.
Well, did they not do the notifications that they were required to do?
They did not do them how they were supposed to do. No.
Yeah, they were incorrect.
They were incorrect. Meetings were canceled where dates were supposed to be, and then they put an ad in the paper in the Advocate saying that the first reading was going to be on January 8th when it had already happened on December 11th.
Yeah. And
they put that ad in the paper 6 days after that first reading, so that, and with all incorrect information.
One of the things that I want to point out about this too is because this has been confusing for the people in the county. Mm-hmm. This was a city action, not a county
Correct.
action.
And we have made a point to point that out. Anytime somebody's calling out county, people, we've said this is in the city. It is not a county issue. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's been attacks on the county commission, attacks on the county executive. I mean, over this, which I wish hadn't happened, because it's not a county issue.
It is not for the Flatwoods.
Yeah.
However, for this moratorium in the county, they are not being as accommodating to a moratorium.
Yeah, the county is not.
Not so far. I mean, we vote on it tomorrow. But
I think that there's a real concern over it leading to zoning.
But a moratorium's just a pause, so it's just a 12-month pause. It's not actual zoning.
Okay, so so when you say a pause, it pauses what?
It pauses any building for any kind of data center AI facility to go into production. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I have a really bad back, so that's why I keep leaning back.
I'm sorry.
And no, it's my fault. So they have I lost my track of thought now.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Talking about, I have the resolution printed off.
Okay, yeah.
So it would be a temporary moratorium for 12 months on an establishment, construction, development, or expansion or operation. And it's just of a couple different businesses. So a data center, cryptocurrency mining facilities, certain high density computing operations within Lawrence County. So all of the things going on that, voting for a moratorium is voting for zoning in the county, is correct that it's voting for zoning for these types of businesses. But we're not telling farmers what they can do. We're not, doing anything with homeowners with their property. It's just for these types of businesses.
It's data center specific wording in here. So
did you guys write this more?
No.
Who did?
So it was sponsored by Shane Eaton and Wayne Yoakum, and I believe they worked with the county lawyer Ryan Durham for writing it.
Okay. Very good. I'm getting text messages too, so okay, very good. 8:45. We got about 15 minutes left. So from this point forward, what happens?
Well, so we have the votes happening tomorrow, so Tuesday, July 28th at 5 p.m. at the county courthouse. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to get a lot of concerned citizens to show up and show their support. We will be there talking to our county commissioners and asking for this moratorium. There'll be hopefully some discussion. We don't ever see discussion at the city of Lawrenceburg. So there's going to hopefully be discussion about this and then voting for, and hopefully again, to pass forward a moratorium.
Yeah. I mean, we can't stress enough that the moratorium has nothing to do with any kind of zoning on your property except for data centers. Okay. I mean, we've encouraged people, we've posted it on our Facebook page for people to read it for themselves instead of taking other people in the community's word.
Are there any current activities that would lead you to believe that a data center is planned elsewhere in the county for the next 12 months?
Large tracts of land being sold.
Yeah, and we've asked specifically, because that's kind of one of the fears that we've been seeing talked about of, if we put in this moratorium, we're going to get sued. However, the instances where that's happened, where the county has been sued, is because they put in a ban, not a moratorium, and there was already an active project under construction. We've asked both David Morgan and Ryan Egley if there was any data centers coming to the county to their knowledge, and they both said not to their knowledge. So that leads us to believe, okay, there's not any fear of something coming, knocking on the door.
Right.
So why not just take the pause and make sure that we have the time to study this, and we're not going to be up against the wall kind of fighting things. It kind of makes sense to me, and it also then rules away the fact of getting sued, because there's not any active projects that we know of that are currently in development.
No. When a tract of land is sold, it's public record.
Sure.
Have you seen anything in the public records that
Oh yeah.
from companies?
Mm,
I mean, I'm talking about companies that have bought tracts of land.
We haven't seen from companies. We've seen from land trust, and different groups like that that have come together, and purchased large, couple hundred acres of land at a time. So that's kind of something that we're following. But again, like, it's in the public record, but only a certain amount is. They don't disclose what they're using it for, and so that's where we're kind of, again, just going, okay, well, we don't know. This could just be that they're wanting to preserve land, or it could be something else.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Who knows?
knows?
Well,
it could be a cow farm.
I
Who
can
knows?
tell you from being in the business, one of the things that's happened, I get calls from developers, and I'm talking about builders, residential builders,
Mhm.
almost every week, looking for property in Lawrence County. Okay, one of the reasons for that is they did put zoning in Murray County.
Mhm.
And it's made it very difficult for builders to do what they want to do up there and develop. And it's I hear from people up that way, so it's put economic pressure on our place down here. And so some of that is that.
Well, I think it just needs to be looked at
I
responsibly.
can just about guarantee you that some of this. Listen, I've had calls from builder developers that want to buy existing subdivisions that I have for sale.
Mhm.
Just buy them out.
Wow.
So there is a expected growth that somebody knows about for our area. I guess just because of the pressure from Nashville on out.
Well, because we were also one of the 3 cities picked to have economic development,
Yeah.
right? What was that study? I can't remember off the top of my head
Oh, yeah.
what it was.
There's
The chamber had put it out that we were identified as like a growth.
there's multiple
yeah.
reasons for all that, and one of them is just purely because some of the other northernmost counties have pressured them out, and they're running out of spaces and running out of places to build, that kind of thing. And there's just more and more people of us.
Well, and I think there's also, a rumored plan to have Lawrence County like Franklin eventually. I mean, obviously that'll take time, but I don't think anybody around here wants to be like Franklin. Not that it's a, bad place or anything, but like the rural life out here is different, and that's why people want to be here.
No, I agree.
We don't want to turn this into Franklin.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, but from an economic point of view, things will happen whether we want them to or not.
Right.
Sure.
You know?
And we need
But it could be
affordable
done-
housing.
It could be done responsibly,
Sure.
instead of just like, anybody wanting to come here and throw money at the county.
You know what's funny though is, of course, I spend time going back and forth to Nashville some, and Franklin, all that area. There's continued growth up there too.
Sure,
It's expanding all the time.
Right.
And traffic slows down for no apparent reason
That's
sometimes.
right. Well, look at what they did in Spring Hill, everything on that one road, and
I'm
just
poor
very,
planning.
very irresponsible planning.
Yeah.
I'm continually amazed at the amount of traffic that we have in Lawrenceburg.
Same.
And of course, I grew up here.
Mhm.
I've lived here my entire life.
Right, so you've seen
And
it all.
So I've seen the growth happen. But being from here, I know where all the pig trails are, so I can avoid it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm from Murfreesboro. That's where I grew up the first 17 years, and seeing the growth there, I mean,
Murfreesboro's.
it
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny now, like driving through and be like, okay, that used to be a field, that used to be like cows, and now it's just things everywhere.
And the
we're-
traffic there is.
Oh yeah. We need affordable housing. We need growth to sustain ourselves as a community. I think it just needs to be, like you said, responsible growth. to make sure that we're not taking away the core essence of what makes Lawrence County unique, and
Yeah.
what so many people love. When I came to buy a house, there was no way I was buying a house in Murfreesboro. I wanted to buy a house where I could hear the birds and I could see the stars and I could be in a community where I can wave at my neighbors. Like, you don't
Yeah.
wave at people in Murfreesboro. And that's the beauty of what Lawrence County is. And as
Yeah.
we talk to so many people, they want to keep that beauty for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm also in business to sell real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it becomes that, not conflict of interest, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like that two-headed.
You know,
But it's a balance.
Yeah.
I had a farm for sale not too long ago for an individual,
Mhm.
and we had an opportunity to sell his place for a lot of money,
Mhm.
but he didn't want it developed.
Yeah.
That was one of those. He said, "I'll sell it, but I don't want it developed."
Right.
Well, that killed the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what the buyers wanted it for.
Sure.
And so you have owners that are like that, but you also have those owners that, okay, wow, I have a really good opportunity here to take my long-term, lifelong investment and
Right.
and
Yeah.
retire or whatever, and you
It's-
can't blame them for wanting to do
No,
that.
absolutely
No.
not. Yeah.
You can't, but you also don't want to be the neighbor of that property that's sold to a data center, because then your property, good
Yeah.
luck selling it.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
property values
Property
that are
value,
tanked.
yeah.
We were seeing
That we're
actually on some real estate listings for a house in Lawrenceburg that people were commenting of like, oh, it's a beautiful house, but don't buy there. They're building data centers. And so seeing that kind of go on online listings is really
See what you've
interesting.
done.
We've informed. Yeah, we've informed. People know about it. It can't be done in secret anymore. So that's kind of the goal of ours, was to educate and make sure that, you know, if things like this come to our community, that we are aware of it, and that we can hopefully be part of the process, like with the county moratorium, so that it's not just snuck in without anyone knowing.
Well, this one's not going to sneak in.
Oh, no. No, we've made sure of that one for sure. And we're definitely watching. I have never really gone to city council or county commission meetings before, and I've been going to them for a while.
Yeah, we've been at everyone since March.
Yeah.
Well, this is. I tell you what, I'm a little motivated, and I don't know if that I can do this or make it happen, but I'm going to try to see if I can get somebody from the data center.
That would
That
be
would be
amazing.
perfect, yeah.
I don't know if we can or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
From what I understand, they're up in like,
North Carolina.
no, there's somebody that's more local around the Gallatin area or the White House, or
Maybe
I don't
Well,
remember.
we'll find out
who
if we
brought it
can.
up. I mean,
I'll find out if we
tell you.
can, because I mean, you know, honestly, if they want to be here and be a part of the community,
Yeah.
they should talk to us.
100%. And we
You know,
would.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, we
No,
would
no.
love that, because then it comes straight from their mouth
Yeah.
where the wastewater is going, how much electricity they're going to
Yeah.
use.
And
Are
if
they
I
gonna
were them, I would
expand?
want to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
we agree.
I would want to do
Yeah.
that. So I'm just surprised that hasn't happened already. That talked with you guys.
Yeah, it has definitely been really frustrating that we can't even use the contact form on their site, and that we've not gotten answers. We've been working with News Channel 5 that's been trying, they had a segment called Your Voice where they go into communities and try and get answers for different things. And
Right.
still, even they came up with all of their investigative journalism research and things to where they didn't have answers because people were not trying to provide answers. So yeah, any answers that you can get, I would love that, Jeff. That would be great.
Another job.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
we feel. That's how we feel
Oh,
every
yeah.
day. When you get another report of, somebody's land, it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
another.
This has
I
been my
will say
third job
this.
now.
Yeah.
I will say this. I remember you told me you saw the Bert's post.
Yeah.
Okay. He actually posted a video of the data center that's in Franklin,
Yes.
which
Okay.
is supposed to be similar to the one we got. He talked to neighbors around there. And looked at that. A pretty nice looking facility, and seemed relatively harmless to anybody around. So that's a good thing, would you not think?
I
And
would
it's-
honestly, when people are going into the data centers like that, I would not only want to do what they're doing, but speak to the community and the neighbors
Yeah.
around. Like,
and which he did.
did he go
Absolutely.
to the neighbors?
Right across the road,
Okay.
there's a
I
of
didn't
course
see
it's
the
in the
whole
middle of a business area and a residential
Mhm.
area, pretty close by.
Mhm.
And he said that one of them was a lawn care business. He said our lawnmowers make more noise than this data center
Mhm.
does. So I'm just saying, I think there's been a lot of alarm over the data center we're getting that's totally unnecessary.
Well, I think that's because we haven't heard from them. So it's like this wild west of information that's coming out. You
Yeah.
know, we're not getting reliable information or accurate information. So I think
Yeah.
having somebody come from the
I would-
actual
yeah,
company would
I agree
really
with that.
help the community.
I agree with that. I think that if I was the company and saw this kind of alarm, that I would come and talk to some people and say, hey, here's what we are and here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe they will. Who knows?
We can only hope, right?
Who knows? And well, I'll tell you this: you guys have been great to have,
Well, thank you for having
Yeah,
us. We really appreciate
and I hope you
the time.
don't. I hope you don't think I was mean to you. Though.
Oh
No,
no.
no.
No, I
We've
think
had
you were
worse.
fair. Yeah, I think you were fair, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. Like, we want to have these discussions.
Sure.
Being shut down by our leaders is really frustrating, and it makes you think, okay, you were elected to have our backs. Why aren't you even having these conversations? And that's what we've been looking for. Again, that first petition we started was not a, no data center. It was just, hey, we want a town hall. And we had over 6,000 people from the community and surrounding areas sign that first petition saying, we want to just learn more information. And it was really frustrating that we couldn't even get that. So that's why we switched to the moratorium of let's pause and find out our own information if no one's going to tell us that.
Very good, very good. So, if someone wants to know more about what you guys are doing, is there a way to reach?
We have our Facebook page, which is Citizens Against Lawrence County Data Centers, and we just post to that. We make almost all of the content local. We don't allow like all the hubbub of the national, information coming. So we just try and keep it mostly our local information. So if anybody wants to keep up with us, they can join that group.
Very, very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
and no AI generated images are allowed
Right.
in the group as well. We are quick to decline those because it's kind of defeating of the point. But
Yeah.
I'm afraid we're not going to escape the AI world. It's happening.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But we can hope on some level that we can at least keep our community safe,
Yeah.
from the centers.
I think we all want that.
Yeah.
I think we all want that, no matter what,
Yeah, some transparency, some accountability, some just some discussion.
Sure. But we don't want to halt progress completely, do we?
No, I think we need to have growth.
Yeah.
So I went to the State of the County that the Chamber put on a couple months back, and it was really encouraging. Again, being a member of the Chamber, I was excited to see all the things happening behind the scenes, but also seeing how we compared to other counties, that we are growing where others have had stagnant growth.
Sure.
And it's really important for the future that we do keep growing and that we bring a mix of different businesses. I personally love to see small businesses open, but we need some bigger ones that can employ more people
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's it. It's all just kind of about balance and making sure that it's the right decision that's going to set us up for long-term success and not long-term, regrets for different
And
things.
employ local people.
Yeah. All right.
You know.
Elle and Tiffany.
Yes.
So glad to have you.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll have you back.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll have you back. And hopefully we'll see if we can find somebody that can tell us more about the data center that's here,
Yes.
the one that's coming, if it finally does get built.
And we just asked for as many people to come to the meeting tomorrow for the county for the moratorium. They'll be voting on it tomorrow.
All right. Very, very good. Well, we're out of time, so thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks,
All right.
Jeff.
See you next time, maybe.
Awesome.
105.3 and W237
Thank you so much.
FM.
Yeah, appreciate your conversation.
Lawrenceburg.
We did good, guys.
Yeah, I think we did.
Communications.